Hello guys, it's ShRi here and welcome back to Indian Esports in a Week, which I kind of want to rebrand right now. Not the whole episodes and everything, but this today's episode. Also, sorry for my nasally ass voice early on, because it's gonna happen. I said Orn by the way. What's happening? I don't know. Let's just get into the topic. So today's video, I want to make not an Indian Esports in a Week, because I want to shift it to something which is really important. I'm hearing a lot of teams in India trying to go for League of Legends Valorant mobile teams, and having those teams and trying to get into the esports market of the MOBA. The main thing which I see is right now as it's kinda difficult, and it's kinda totally different from what the teams and the coaches and the players are accustomed to. Because in India, the most popular esports we have currently in the mobile market at least are the battle royals and the shooters. And it's been like this since last 3 or 4 years, since when there was a huge emergence into the mobile esports league, especially in the Indian region. So this video is kind of my message to all the organizations and the team owners who are trying to get into Wild Rift or any other MOBA, basically like Dota or even League of Legends, which possibly is not gonna happen sooner or later, because we already did that shit, right? Dota didn't work out, the viewership died. League of Legends never even given a chance because we don't have a decent servers. So yeah, that thing happened. I'm here to tell you about what are the steps you should try to go for and what are the things you should totally ignore and not even look at right now before or during the process of finding a team right now. First of all, okay, let's just get it started, right? Basically, first is eagerness. I'm really just want to pinpoint that point, because there's huge excitement everywhere right now. There's a huge hype, and it's justified too, because Riot is entering the proper mobile market. Well, this was first time though, because they already have TFT Mobile, and they already did a really decent big tournament with Paytm first when they started the TFT Mobile. But after that, there was no proper resurgence, or there was no proper tournaments or nothing like a proper esports schedule in the TFT world. They barely do one tournament, a one big tournament, which is a worldwide tournament whenever TFT season ends. But that's not even a big deal, because the viewership is also very low over there too, and I don't think people even care about that tournament much. But yeah, so Wild Rift is totally different though, because Wild Rift is literally a new game. It's not even a ported game from the PC version of the League of Legends. It's totally a different game, and they're trying to make it as user friendly and as as attractive to the eyes of teams, players, and the casual players, professional players, just so they can get their player base up slowly, and that's what their marketing strategy is right now. But bundling it with and new iPhones and advertising it that way. This is also really important for them, because they're trying to get into the market, which is generally not seen as an esports market or a mobile gaming market even, which is Apple. Barely people play games in Apple phones. They're normally termed as generally professional level phones and stuff like that. So, you gotta understand my point. The first point was eagerness. So, I will generally suggest anybody who is entering the esports market, especially the Mobile Rift or any MOBA games, Wild Rift, to just calm yourself down. It's gonna happen sooner or later. Don't worry, and try to not early invest yourself too much into the game without having any proper insights of what's gonna even happen, because these kind of things change in a quiff, and you won't even know what's happened, and the time it comes on, maybe your team is totally obsolete and you are left with nothing pretty much. So it's really not worth it to do that. Rather than that, I will highly suggest a team to start scouting players, if you do really want to do this, by having smaller tournaments, by their having those tournaments in their own region. start that and scout the higher level talents. Then you can do the one more thing, which is trying to advertise as much as you can that you're interested into the esports, because then whenever there's a new game, their top level pros are already like grabbed easily by the people. And I just want to suggest like at least your name would be there in the mind of the player, so to reach out to you or your company if he's at that level or whatever you're looking at. So it's also going to become really important part in the whole process. Okay, then second point when we started the whole thing is team game, MOBAs and all the so second point I really want to make is team game. All the MOBAs and like Wild Rift, Mobile Legends, Dota, all of these are a team-based game. They are 5v5 games. But you will say, well, other games are 5v5. What's the difference? So difference between any MOBA or FPS is the 5v5 strategies in the MOBA and FPS are totally different. There's no interchangeable roles in MOBAs. Meanwhile, in shooters, you can try to change your roles, like one round you're a rifler in the entry position, and second round you can be a lurker or stuff like that, and that's how it works basically. But in MOBAs, you have specific roles based on your lane, based on your the place where you're standing at in the map, and based on your champion. You have an exact position, exact role, and this is how your team synergize well with each other. So I just want to highly suggest anybody to not look for an individual talent early on, because you probably won't even find it. Like, it's a very rare chance that you will get access to an individual talent early on into the game's emergence, and this will. And better than doing that, I would highly suggest anybody to go and try to find a proper team. So when we talk about like the team comms and stuff, it really matters in the long run, especially because when I suggest somebody to like form a team, right? Especially when you're starting getting early into the league or into the system of the esports teams, I would highly suggest anybody who is entering the MOBA to try to find 5 players who synergize well with each other, or who have a connection to each other, or they can just have a good communication between each other, rather than finding like 5 individual talents who probably do not have that connection, and could probably lead to like the conflicts within the team. And that could happen a lot, and that could happen a lot easier, especially in the esports community, because there are a lot of things which were just taken into the account and kind of doesn't make any sense in the long run. So I will highly suggest to like try to find the 5 individual I will highly suggest to try to find a team rather than like finding 5 individual talent and just mixing up them together, because that could lead to problems in the end. And there are options to easily find a 5v5 like 5-player team, and that could let you a lot of like future possibilities. And I would highly suggest to like try to find a team rather than individual talent at that level, because you probably won't be able to like scout individual talent at right now. Like who you gonna pick? Like highest ranked player? What if he doesn't do anything when the next batch comes up? What happens when his champions are obsolete like coming months? What's gonna happen then? So I would probably just suggest to like just wait up, take your time, invest your time rather than investing your money early on, and just like calm yourself down and like try to find a team which have a good communication rather than focusing on individual talents. Like if you want to talk about individual talents, let me just give you an example. Like Faker, who's literally one of the best League of Legends player in the world. Nobody could ever say that he is not the #1 League of Legends player in the world since a long time. He has won three worlds even. But Faker hasn't been into the Worlds final since like last 3 years, back in 2017, when they lost to Samsung Galaxy White. So what this whole like example states is that individual talent is great, but if your team doesn't synergize well as a team, then you can't build a roster which can possibly give you results. So that's what I'm trying to say with my second point, which is team game. So my next point is team comms and synergies. I really want to just like go through with this point deeply as much as I can. So team comms and synergy is very important in League of Legends. There's a thing we call a wombo combo. It's a process, or it's like a thing which happens when one champion's ultimates or abilities synergize so well with another champion's abilities and ultimates that they led to helping your team try to be in a proper, accurate, exact positions into the map, into the game during the process in a team fight, which ended up giving you proper favorable results. Basically, which means in a layman's term is that your players should know when to ult, when to use their abilities in a proper way, and when to go after kills or when to not go after kills, or when to focus on the objectives, and these like small things which only will happen if your team has a decent synergy. Because in a MOBA, it is all about strategies. MOBAs are not like games which are played on a whiff or played with a soul, played with a heart. These are the games which needs proper tactical mind, which needs strategies, which needs strategy forming, which need analysis, which needs player being able to like see what their values are, their valuable at, and try to perform in that same environment. So that happens, and that's very necessary for a team to build properly and work properly in the long run, because if you don't do that, it will not end up in a good results in your favorable terms. So team comps synergies are very important to the team. And I can't say much about the team comms too right now, because we don't know what the proper champion list is, and we still don't know what the champion stats are, and based on that only we can properly synergize proper team comms right now. And unless I get up those proper graphs and proper results right now, I can't properly synergize a team, because it's even though it's a total because the game is not ported, League of Legends is not directly ported into the mobile by Riot, which is not so. And Wild Rift is totally a different game, as you can see, with the champion skills, champion shards, and champion outlook and everything. So everything is changed now. Nothing is the same. And the stats and runes and items and rankings, everything is getting revamped in the Wild Rift, and it's totally a different game, not a ported version of like PC version of the League of Legends. So this is gonna happen. These changes gonna happen. This thing's gonna make sense in the long run. But even if you try to focus on these things right now, you probably get a longer and like wider advantage than your peers and than your competition at this point, really, basically. Then my point is team roles, and as you probably don't know, but like most FPS players, FPS teams, like first person shooter teams or the battle royale teams, doesn't have proper roles, or even if they have a recent roles, they can like switch those roles in between each other whenever they think so. And this also can become a really important, really decent strategy. Like there are in the shooter games, we have roles like rifler, like entry, like the shooter, like the utility, and like the carry, and like these simple things, the opera and stuff like that. But in the MOBAs, we have a specific roles based on the lane and based on your placement and based on the way which part of the map you are at. And normally throughout the whole game, 90% of the times you're gonna stay in that part only, and you're not gonna move away from your lane, or you're not gonna move away into the other lane. Generally speaking, you can always switch lanes when like there's a normal strategy in League of Legends. We switch lanes when your teammate is losing one lane. You can just go to the other lane and try to farm there and try to see if you can have any other advantage rather than just farming in a losing lane. So that also happens a lot in League of Legends, and it's still a team role based game, and everybody should realize that before that, because even though Riot say that they're gonna try to make it as flexible as possible for the casual players, but I'm pretty sure when it comes to the competitive scene, they're gonna lock in the roles properly, and the roles which will be locked in is like top, bottom, middle lane, ADC, bot size ADC, and support. These jungle too, and these are the roles which will be there forever, and you need proper players in the proper position into those roles who know what to do at what time, basically. Then my fourth, fifth, I don't remember at this point actually. It's possibly my fifth point. So analysts and coaches. When you talk about analysts and coaches in MOBAs, it's very important, because analysts and coaches give you little edge over your competition. They can help your players grow, they can help your players learn what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right, they can help your players brief about brief them about their competition. They can help your team synergize well with the new items, new changes, new mechanics, and whatever the fuck is happening in the scene, new champions, regardless of that. So you really need a good analyst or a coach who can properly get into the whole system of those things, whichever is happening in the League of Legends scene, and try to grow from that place. Because if you don't get a proper analyst or coach early on, but the good coaches, good analysts will be gone, and you will left pretty much with nothing. And if you try to fit somebody else into the whole scene, whole system, it's probably not gonna work out in a way you probably think it should. Then if you talk about, I still have one more point, which is rankings. The rankings of League of Legends is different from the Wild Rift's rankings, and there's no proper actual rank competition until after Diamond 1 in the Wild Rift. While meanwhile in the League of Legends it starts at as low as Iron rank. So yeah, this proper competition of the ranking starts at after Diamond 1 in the Wild Rift Mobile region. So I will have you suggest to not pick up anybody who is less than Diamond 1, or at least I would say Diamond 1 is still considered like early on. So I would suggest to not pick up anybody who's at least not Masters or Grandmaster tier, because these are like second highest or highest ranks, second highest or third highest ranks, and these should be taken into account if you want to build a competitive roster into the current scene. And you should always pick point and always know that your players are doing decent and synergize well in the team comp according to their roles. But you should always know what they're doing, what their roles are, what their part into the team, and that should be always kept into the proper mindsets of your players, coaches, and everybody who's with the team. My final and most important point, how much I can like emphasize on that, is changing meta game. League of Legends and Wild Rift, even though they are different, they still are made by Riot, and they're still possibly going to be having a meta-changing system in which every single month or every single week there are going to be patches, there are going to be updates in which the small stats of like champions, items, ruins, or new champions, and things will be added, removed. There's sometimes you will see there's some champions are really strong, and at other times in next month or so you will realize they are not even worth even like playing at the competitive level. And these kind of things gonna happen again and again and again, and it's gonna be like such a system that you're probably gonna get like really bad or really mad about that changes. But it's gonna happen, and Riot has proven that they are not scared to do that thing, because they have done that in mobile League of Legends teamfight tactics and even Drone Terra. So they're very able to do that whole thing again and again, and they're more focused on doing that rather than something else. So this is pretty much all I want to say about the whole Wild Rift Esports and potential of its what's gonna happen. And this was like just my little small message to all the coaches, players, team managers, team owners, regional directors, or whatever your position is. This was pretty much my message to all of you, that this is how you, if you want to build a proper team, this is how you should go ahead. I still have like a decent player base, and I still have like decent idea about the team comp and potential players to sign and stuff like that. But I want to try to like keep it to myself right now, especially because I'm still looking for a position in the team. In the future teams, as a team manager, coach, or at least analyst. So I'm still open to those contracts, and if somebody is willing to give me a contract about that thing, please feel free to check my email in my contact list, or just contact me over at LinkedIn. Thank you, and hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.